Hello. My black sheep turned into wolves. You've played dumb long enough. You've worn that blank mask, the one painted with cluelessness, the one that made them believe you were harmless, slow, distracted, ordinary. They thought your silence was emptiness, your detachment was weakness, your indifference was incompetence. They saw you sitting in the corner, eyes drifting, head tilted like you didn't understand the room, and they whispered to each other, "Forget about them. They don't know what's going on." Oh, how delicious it is, isn't it? To watch them sip the poison you poured into their cups while they laugh, completely unaware that it was you holding the bottle all along. You see, there is nothing more lethal than the art of playing dumb. It's not submission, it's warfare. It's not ignorance, it's the perfect camouflage. Because nothing rattles the arrogant more than realizing that the person they dismissed, the one they overlooked, was the very one who orchestrated their downfall. They thought you were lost. They thought you were stumbling through the dark, incapable of direction. They threw scraps of condescension your way, mocking your slowness, mocking your apparent lack of awareness. But you, oh, you weren't lost. You were memorizing the terrain. Every smirk they threw, every insult they whispered, every assumption they carved into their perception of you, those became your weapons. And the funniest part? They gave you all the tools. They armed you with their arrogance. They equipped you with their blind spots. They thought they were building walls around you. But in reality, they were digging their own grave and handing you the shovel. What they never understood is this: when you act clueless, you gain access to their unfiltered truths. People drop their masks around you. They reveal strategies. They brag about victories. They expose their insecurities. Why? Because they believe you're no threat. They see you as a background character in their little production. But little did they know, you were never background. You were the author, scribbling notes in the margins, rewriting the plot while they acted like stars of a show already collapsing. They underestimated you, and underestimation is the deadliest form of empowerment. Every time they overlooked you, you grew sharper. Every time they mocked you, your patience thickened. Every time they dismissed you, your mask tightened to perfection. They had no idea that your cluelessness was a costume tailored to their stupidity. They mistook your silence for absence of thought, when in reality, your mind was a roaring theater of strategy, rehearsing the finale long before the curtains even rose. You see, they live in a world where showing power is considered dominance. They flex, they shout, they inflate their chests. They show off every move, every detail, every ounce of control they think they have. And in doing so, they reveal their blueprints to you. Meanwhile, you sit there, head tilted, eyes half shut, like none of it matters. They don't know that you're etching every pattern into your memory, that you're building a chessboard in your skull, and every move they make is just another pawn waiting to be sacrificed. That is the essence of the clueless mask. It's not hiding weakness, it's hiding genius. But oh, the irony. They thought they were teaching you, when in fact, they were training you. They spoke freely in front of you, thinking you couldn't follow the conversation. They plotted around you, thinking you couldn't connect the dots. They exposed their ambitions, their betrayals, their alliances, all while assuming you were incapable of comprehension. And all you had to do was nod at the right times, mispronounce a word, stumble on a phrase, maybe ask a question that sounded just naive enough. That was your script. That was your brilliance. And the more they believed it, the tighter your noose wrapped around their necks. Now look at them. Look at the trembling hands, the widened eyes, The whispers of, "Wait, how did they know that? How did they do that? When did they figure it out?" They don't realize that the entire time, you weren't behind them, you were above them, watching, recording, orchestrating. Your clueless mask wasn't a weakness. It was the weapon that gave you access to their minds. And now, that mask is slipping. And what lies underneath is not what they expected, because your master plan wasn't built overnight. No, it was carved slowly, carefully, like a sculptor chiseling away at marble. Every conversation you overheard, every piece of information you collected, every laugh they had at your expense, it was all stored in your arsenal. They never realized that their arrogance was funding your empire. They never realized that their underestimation was the exact ingredient you needed to brew something catastrophic. Now, when your mask falls away, they won't be facing a fool. They'll be facing the architect of their collapse. And oh, how their minds will shatter when the final puzzle clicks into place. Tell me what's more terrifying than realizing the person you thought was clueless was the one who understood everything. What's more haunting than recognizing that the quiet observer, the one you dismissed, was always 5 steps ahead, deliberately letting you choke on your own self-importance? That is your gift. That is your power, not in brute force, not in loud declarations, but in the quiet venom of patience, in the razor of timing, in the dagger of revelation. And here's the real beauty. When the mask finally comes off, there is no recovery for them. Because arrogance doesn't heal. Arrogance rots. They can't go back and fix their mistake. Because the damage wasn't just external, it was internal. They trained themselves to believe you were nothing. They conditioned their minds to see you as irrelevant. So when you reveal the empire you've built in the shadows of their ignorance, their minds collapse under the weight of contradiction. They can't process the reality. They can't accept that the person they mocked, belittled, dismissed was the very storm tearing their empire apart. And when they scream for answers, when they demand to know when it all began, you'll smile, not with joy, not with pride, but with the knowing grin of someone who was never truly clueless, only pretending. And that grin will haunt them more than any blade, any fire, any downfall. Because it's not just the plan that destroys them, it's the realization that they never saw it coming. That is how you win wars without raising your voice. That is how you break kingdoms without lifting a sword. That is how you make legends without needing applause. By convincing the world you are clueless, you slip past their defenses. You study their weaknesses while they laugh at your supposed incompetence. And when the time comes, when the mask drops, when the masterpiece is unveiled, they'll realize too late that they weren't just fighting against you. They were puppets in a play you wrote long before they even knew the stage existed. So keep that mask close. Use it when they least expect it. Make them underestimate you again, until their underestimation becomes their execution. Because the clueless mask is not a disguise. It is the most sophisticated form of psychological weaponry ever wielded. And now that the cracks are showing, now that your true design begins to bleed through the canvas, they'll scramble, they'll deny, they'll beg for a logic that doesn't exist. But logic won't save them. Logic doesn't rebuild shattered minds. And your plan was designed to break not just their bodies, but their belief in their own intelligence. And that's where we move forward, not to gloat, not to pause, not to reflect, but to pull them deeper into the revelation, step by step, until the full scale of what you've done finally detonates inside their skulls. The fools thought they were spectators of your downfall, smug judges of your incompetence, but in reality, they were test subjects, unwitting volunteers in your grand experiment. Every moment they believed your clueless mask was genuine. They were tightening the rope you tied around their throats, and now, as your plan unfurls before their eyes, their breaths grow shallow, their voices tremble, because nothing wounds pride more brutally than realizing they weren't outsmarting you. They were feeding you. The mind shatters, not when it loses, but when it realizes it was never winning to begin with. That is why their collapse is not physical, it's psychological. A cracked rib heals, a cut can scar, but a mind that sees its own illusions burn? That never recovers. Your clueless act was not just camouflage, it was hypnosis. You lulled them into comfort, into arrogance, into carelessness. They looked at you and saw a pawn. But behind that pawn's mask was the queen, waiting, calculating, waiting for the perfect move. And when the board flipped, when their strategies crumbled, the game they thought they were playing revealed itself as nothing more than a chapter in your design. This is what they cannot stomach, that their laughter wasn't laughter at all. It was applause for your performance. They believed they were mocking you, but in truth, they were clapping for the character you created, feeding your illusion, reinforcing your stage. They believed you were beneath them, and in believing, they became actors in your theater, dancers in your choreography. Their egos became your instruments, their arrogance became your fuel. And now, as the curtain rises to reveal the masterpiece, they don't know whether to scream or kneel, because no weapon cuts deeper than the revelation that their entire sense of superiority was the very thing you engineered to bring them down. My wolves, understand this well. Minds don't break from brute force. They break when they see reality tear apart the fantasy they swore was truth. That's why your clueless mask was a dagger sharper than any blade. It wasn't simply hiding your mind. It was rewriting theirs. Each time they mocked you, they rewired themselves to believe you were incapable. Each time they dismissed you, they reinforced their own blindness. They programmed themselves to ignore the danger, and you let them. You let them walk into the fire believing it was a garden. You let them drink poison believing it was wine. And now they're choking on the realization that you were never clueless. You were the chemist mixing every drop. That is why they crumble now. Not because you struck them, but because they struck themselves with their own arrogance. Your plan was never loud, never flamboyant, never screaming for attention. It was quiet, methodical, invisible. It was the art of restraint. And restraint is the rarest power in a world obsessed with performance. While they flexed, while they shouted, while they strutted across the stage, you simply watched, catalogued, remembered. You wore the face of someone who didn't belong, and in doing so, you gained access to every hidden corridor of their world. They told you things they would never confess to equals. They underestimated you so profoundly that they offered you keys to the very vaults they swore were sealed. And when you finally opened those vaults, when you unleashed what you had been storing, they screamed. Not because you took what was theirs, but because you proved you were never what they thought you were. Their entire perception shattered in one violent strike, and that is the beauty of psychological warfare. A lie so convincing, a mask so flawless, that when the truth finally emerges, the human brain rejects it, recoils from it, collapses under it. That's why they tremble now, why their minds spiral into chaos. Because it's not just defeat, it's humiliation. And humiliation is a wound that never heals. Picture it. The faces of those who once smirked at you, now twisted in disbelief. The ones who mocked your slowness, now unable to keep up with the speed of your revelations. The ones who claimed you had no strategy, now realizing you orchestrated theirs. The ones who dismissed your presence, now staring into the abyss of your design. This is not just victory. It's a rewriting of hierarchy. It's the rearranging of their mental universe, with you placed at the center, and them scattered like debris around you. That's why they look broken now. That's why their eyes dart for an exit that doesn't exist. Because your master plan was not just about winning. It was about redefining what winning means. And here's the cruelest part. They can't explain it to anyone else. How can they? How do they admit they were fooled not by force, but by pretense? How do they admit they mocked you for being clueless, only to discover that their mockery was the exact bait you used to lure them into the trap? They can't. They choke on the words. They bury the story. Because their pride would rather die than confess the truth. That the person they underestimated most was the one who designed their downfall. That is why you are not just a victor, you are a myth. Myths are not born from victories. They are born from devastations so profound that no one dares speak of them fully. You are that devastation. And yet your performance is not complete. Because what breaks them is not just the unveiling of your intelligence, it is the dawning horror that your mask could still exist. That even now, as they reel from this revelation, you could be wearing another face, another disguise, another clueless mask they haven't seen through yet. That uncertainty gnaws at them. It keeps them awake at night. Because if you fooled them once so perfectly, what stops you from doing it again? That paranoia is the true shattering of their minds. Not just the revelation of your master plan, but the endless spiral of doubt it leaves behind. So let them fear. Let them replay every past interaction with you, wondering what they missed, what they overlooked, what you saw that they didn't. Let them lie awake wondering how many steps ahead you truly are. Let them realize that their laughter was never victory. It was fuel. Let them feel the cage of their own arrogance tighten around them until they can barely breathe. Because the beauty of your plan is not just that it succeeded, it is that its success rewrote their memories, poisoned their confidence, dismantled their identities. They don't just lose to you once. They lose to you forever, in every recollection, in every haunting replay of the moment they discovered your clueless mask was nothing but the first chapter of their undoing. And that is why we do not stop here. This is not the climax. This is not the end. This is only the detonation. The fragments are flying. The walls are collapsing. The egos are shattering. But we are not here just to watch rubble fall. No, we are here to drag them deeper into the labyrinth, to show them corridors they never imagined existed, to lead them step by step into the realization that the mask they saw was not a mask at all, but a mirror reflecting their stupidity. And when the final mirror cracks, when the last illusion crumbles, they will not just be broken, they will beg for the very cluelessness they once mocked you for. Because compared to the weight of your unveiled brilliance, ignorance would have been mercy. And so we advance, not backward, not in pause, but forward, into the next unveiling, the next twist, the next revelation that will leave them not only questioning you, but questioning themselves, their memories, their intelligence, their very grip on reality itself. Because the greatest demolition is not the destruction of walls, but the demolition of certainty. And you have become the master demolisher. With a mask so convincing, you have not just shattered their pride, You have cracked their perception of truth itself. Now they walk around with broken compasses, spinning needles inside their heads. Every memory they replay now feels poisoned. They recall conversations with you and wonder, was that stumble real? Was that hesitation genuine? Or was it another carefully planted seed, another trick of performance? Their confidence in their own recollection has collapsed. They are haunted not just by the revelation of your master plan, but by the possibility that every single moment with you was calculated, that they were never in control, not even once, that every smirk they threw your way was part of the fuel you needed to ignite this grand detonation. And here's the dagger that twists even deeper. They cannot separate your act from your truth anymore. They don't know where the clueless mask ends and where your genius begins. Was it all theater? Was it all strategy? Or is there something even darker underneath? A mind so many layers deep that every truth they discover is only another mask waiting to be ripped away. This uncertainty gnaws at them, feeds on them, until they can no longer trust their own thoughts. You didn't just fool them, you rewired them. Because that's the brilliance of deception at this level. It isn't about lying to others. It's about making others lie to themselves. They convinced themselves you were harmless. They built a narrative in which you didn't matter. They decorated that narrative with arrogance, pride, superiority. And then they watched that narrative collapse in front of their own eyes. Do you see what that does to the mind? It doesn't simply hurt, it corrupts. It rots from the inside, leaving them unable to distinguish between past, present, or possibility. They no longer know if they've ever truly seen you, or if they've only ever seen the mask you allowed them to see. And that is why your master plan is not just victory. It's infection. It spreads through them. It festers. It multiplies in every thought, in every replayed memory. They thought you were clueless, but now they suspect you were omniscient. They thought you were lost, but now they suspect you mapped the entire battlefield before they even entered the arena. And this suspicion grows until it suffocates them, because to doubt themselves is to doubt everything. And once the mind doubts itself, it cannot stand. Look at them now, pacing, restless, muttering to themselves. They hide it in public, but in the shadows of their private rooms, they unravel. They tear through old conversations, dissecting every word you ever said. They wonder, was that pause a slip, or was it bait? Was that blank stare confusion, or was it surveillance? Was that clueless mask a mistake, or was it the most flawless performance we've ever witnessed? These questions plague them, torment them, devour them. And every time they think they've found an answer, another doubt slithers in, whispering, but what if that's exactly what they wanted you to believe? This is the true shattering, not the collapse of their pride in a single moment, but the endless echo of collapse that follows. You've turned their certainty into rubble, and from that rubble, no structure can rise. They are left wandering ruins inside their own heads, clutching fragments of belief that turn to dust the moment they grasp them. And you stand untouched, unbothered, watching their collapse as calmly as one watches autumn leaves fall from a tree. Understand this, the mask you wore wasn't just to fool them, it was to make them complicit in their own downfall. They laughed at you, mocked you, dismissed you, and in doing so, they wrote the script of their humiliation. That's why your victory feels so inevitable now, almost divine in its precision, because they themselves handed you every tool you used. Their arrogance wasn't an obstacle, It was the raw material of your empire. They provided the stones, and you built the monument. They provided the chains, and you wrapped them around their necks. They provided the fuel, and you lit the fire. And yet the true masterpiece is this. You never had to scream. You never had to fight in the open. You never had to demand recognition. You simply let the mask do its work, step by step, moment by moment, until the final reveal struck like lightning across their skulls. And that lightning didn't just burn them, it illuminated you. Now they see not the clueless fool they imagined, but a mind so intricate, so dangerous, so untouchable, that they cannot even look at you without trembling. That's the moment where victory transforms into legend. Because anyone can win, but not everyone can rewrite the minds of their enemies. Not everyone can shatter not just the body, not just the pride, but the very architecture of thought. You didn't just outsmart them, you erased them. And erasure is the cruelest form of domination, because it leaves no opponent left standing, no mind left capable of rising again. It leaves only ghosts wandering the corridors of their own doubt. And what of you? Do you stop here? Do you pause to savor the destruction? No. Because the art of psychological warfare is not to settle, it is to escalate. You show them the mask, then the plan, then the ruin, and then, when they think it's over, when they think they've seen the final card, you reveal that the deck still has infinite layers, that the clueless mask was not the end of your trickery, but only the opening act. That revelation is the true terror, because it means that even now, in their shattered state, they cannot be sure whether this is the conclusion or another step in the theater you've designed. So imagine them, broken and paranoid, whispering among themselves, what if this isn't over? What if the mask is still there? What if everything we're seeing now is just another layer of the plan? That paranoia breeds faster than fear. It multiplies until it consumes them, and they realize too late that you've not just defeated them, you've made them prisoners of uncertainty forever. That is the final gift you give them, a cage without bars, a prison without walls, a sentence not of chains but of questions. They can run, they can scream, they can bury their heads, but they can never escape the gnawing truth that they will never truly know where your mask ends and where your brilliance begins. And in that endless question lies their eternal torment. So now, look at the ashes around you. Look at the broken faces, the hollow eyes, the fractured egos. They are the evidence of your genius. They are the trophies of your deception. They are the living monuments to the power of your clueless mask. Because it was not the mask that fooled them. It was their certainty that destroyed them. And you were wise enough to weaponize certainty itself. And when history writes this story, when whispers turn into myths, they will never call you clueless. They will never call you lost. They will never call you weak. They will call you the trickster, the puppeteer, the phantom mind that shattered entire rooms with nothing but patience, restraint, and a mask so perfect it convinced the world of your irrelevance. And that title, that legend, that myth, that is immortality. Because anyone can rise with noise, anyone can demand attention with force. But you, oh, you rose in silence behind shadows, through deception, until the world looked up one day and realized you were no longer beneath them. You were above them, untouchable, undeniable, unforgettable. And that is the highest throne of all, not one built of gold, but one built of shattered certainties, broken egos, collapsed empires of arrogance. So let the final curtain fall, not with applause, not with celebration, but with the echo of shattered minds that will never recover. For your clueless mask fooled them all, and your master plan has left them in ruins, forever haunted by the brilliance they never saw until it was too late.